Hi everyone, Dan Julien here, nurse practitioner for Dan Aesthetics Medical, and our clinic is located here in Ottawa, Canada. Today we're talking about the new lip filler craze, taping your lips with steri strips or other similar tape to help create the illusion of a more everted lip and also to help prevent lip filler migration. Does it work? Let's get into it. Alright, so I have to admit that the first time I saw this lip taping technique, I thought it was really clever because the issue with lip fillers right now is that it's almost inevitable you're going to have some type of migration with it. And if we can avoid migration issues, or if we can avoid having to dissolve them altogether with a little bit of taping, which looks medical and professional, then maybe that would be pretty cool, right? Well, let's get into why migration happens. You guys can make a decision for yourself if this taping actually does anything. So this whole section of the mouth is called the orbicularis oris, and it's divided into two sections. We have the strongest part of the muscle, which is the red part here, and that's where we want to inject. And then we have a weaker part of the muscle back here. And whenever you're placing filler, you want to place it into the red area, the vermilion. And we're hoping that the lip filler will stay there. All fillers, by the way, tend to break down between 12 and 24 months. They're held together, this hyaluronic acid is held together with a bond. The bond naturally breaks down, your body absorbs it, and then it turns into an unbonded hyaluronic acid, just like the stuff that you buy on the shelves to place on your face, and it just hydrates the tissues around it. Pretty cool, right? Well, the issue with lip filler is that whenever you place it, usually after 6 to 9 months, it's not so visible anymore. And providers may tell you that's because your mouth moves a lot, and as a result, there's more metabolism there and it breaks it down quicker. That is BS. That's not how lip fillers work. Lip fillers will stay for 12 to 24 months, doesn't matter how much movement there is, it just moves. It moves to the path of least resistance. And if we know that this muscle is strongest and this muscle is weaker, that's where it tends to go. It just moves back oh so slightly and oh so slowly. And the first time you do lip fillers, we're using usually, let's say, 1 syringe on average. Divide that into 2, which is 0.5. That is literally 1/10 of a teaspoon that we're placing on top and bottom. And by the time it moves and migrates, it's not visible. Lip filler migration that's not visible is not an issue. But let's take a look at a couple examples here of lips that have been filled once every 6 months for 2 years. And that's because HA fillers take 12 to 24 months to break down. If you're disrupting the vermilion border with filler, especially with a large amount of filler, you're asking for visible superficial migration almost instantaneously. Anyone who I've seen have this type of Russian lip technique or modified Russian lip technique will have visible migration within 2 to 3 months. It always happens, and taping it will not prevent that from happening. Your tape is only on there for maybe max 2 weeks. And I'm sorry, even during those 2 weeks, it's not doing anything. That tape is not clamping anything down. You need 2 opposable forces to clamp. So unless you had a huge clamp on the upper lip to prevent the migration, maybe that could help, but then you're going to have ischemia because you're not going to have any blood circulating there. That tape is not doing anything. Now, the other thing the lip taping is claiming to do is change the angle of the lip. So once you place filler in here to make it flatter and higher, they will tape it up and they'll hold it there for, I don't know, a couple weeks maybe. Is that going to change the natural angle of the lip? Of course not. Why? Because it's not surgery. The only way that you can change the angle of a lip is with an upper lip lift. There's no way that you can change someone's natural anatomy just with taping. It doesn't make any sense. And the combination of taping and adding sugar jelly, basically that's what you're doing, is never going to naturally change someone's anatomy to open it, the lip up. What enough filler can do, if you place too much of it too often, it can stretch out the skin, absolutely. And you can make someone's lips look bigger. But remember, just like the earlobe issue, when people end up stretching out their earlobes later on, they end up becoming saggy, they end up needing surgery. It doesn't shrink back to its natural position. And that's the issue too when you overfill the lips. Gradually, you're going to have to keep inflating your lips. And whenever you're 40, 50, 60, your lips are going to look rather ridiculous at that age, and there's no way to fix that without some type of cosmetic surgery that you could have prevented. All right, so you made it to the end. Here we go. This is your bonus tips to prevent lip filler migration. Get your pad and papers out. Let's go. Rule number 1, do not fill the vermilion border. That border is there for a reason, and if you fill it, especially if you exaggerate it, you're literally asking for the quickest way to have visible migration. Migration happens all the time with lip filler, but if you want visible migration where people can see and you can see the lip filler migrate, that's the quickest way to get there, is placing filler in the vermilion border. Don't do it. Number 2, let's say you go for a very naturalistic lip and you're hoping to keep this naturalistic lip. How often should you go? Okay, so you have a couple options here. First of all, you can go once a year. That's totally fine because by the time your filler is breaking down, you're not going to have enough visible migration to create a large pocket, and at the same time, it's going to look natural. The downside of this is that for most people, you're going to have about 3 to 6 months of the illusion of not really having much in their lips, so keep that in mind. Second option is you can have your lips filled every 6 months if you like, and you can do that twice, but on the third time, you must dissolve and then repeat the process after 2 weeks. And the reason why that's so crucial is because you are preventing a pocket of filler, right? Remember that the accumulation of filler over 2 years, 4 sessions, has now moved from here all the way up here, and this is literally a pocket of filler and is now the new path of least resistance. So even if you have dissolved it in 2 years, because you've created that pocket, if you tend to refill it, it usually tends to migrate within a few months. So we need to avoid that as much as possible. Thanks everyone. Remember, if you're into medical aesthetics, I do have a Patreon link below. Check it out. Until the next time, take care of yourselves, exercise daily, and please be nice to absolutely everyone. Take care.